Welcome to this week's episode of Andrea Lake 101, The Making of a Billionaire. Oh my God, you guys. Stickergate has been on the top of everyone's mind lately. Why? It's the 1 year anniversary of Stickergate. Thank God. So we are going to cover all things Stickergate and Sticker Wars in this week's episode of Andrea Lake 101, The Making of a Billionaire. Okay, you guys, on this week's episode, we are covering so many things. Holy smokes, we exhibited at San Diego Pride. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. What was our goal when we went into San Diego Pride? It was, of course, to connect with the community. And of course, San Diego Pride is a nonprofit, so it was to support the LGBTQ community in San Diego. And our goal, my goal, Brian's goal, Chance's goal, Jenny's goal, our internal goal in the office was for us to have a booth that was so much better, head and shoulders, so much better than every other booth at Pride that we just blew everybody out of the water. I said, I want this to look like a pop-up store. I want this to look like we constructed something just completely beautiful in the middle of this festival. And when I tell you, when I walked around Pride, we had by such a huge margin the best booth, by a ginormous amount. Every other booth was done with like those pop-up things with a printed canopy on top. You know, some people have beautiful marketing. We were next to a Fortune 500 brand. They had beautiful marketing on their booth, but it was just like a pop-up canopy, their tchotchkes. It was smartly done. They had like a little activation on there for people to take a picture in and post on Instagram. But when you got to our booth, it looked like a store. It looked so good. I am so thankful that we have Chance, our booth designer. He banged it out of the park. It looked simple but elegant, and our marketing, come on. David, let's fucking go. Our Pride collection this year, our Pride sticker collection, was so intensely good. Michi had a great sticker in there. Courtney had a great sticker in there. Wendy had a great Skate Don't Hate sticker in there. But the dominant majority of all of our art assets at Pride were down to David, who is just killing it with his art. His Protect the Dolls sticker, come on, give me a break. How adorable is that? So when I finally did get the chance just to walk around Pride and see every single other booth, I was like, oh man, I mean, I knew that we nailed it, but it wasn't until I saw it against all the other booths that I was like, oh yeah, it's because it's been a minute since I've been to a trade show like this, or to an activation, or to a festival exhibiting as an exhibitor. So when I walked around, the next closest booth in quality to us was a tequila company, as well it should be. And their booth had to have cost like $150,000. They were associated with one of the sound stages. They had a bunch of grappling stuff, but it was also didn't look special. It looked like every other expensive booth that you would see anywhere at a trade show. It did not look like custom and special and sexy and fun and creative. Then there was the flooring of the booth, which immediately was like such an immediate differentiator. And let me tell you, that flooring did not hold up well. We were on asphalt and we forgot to bring a broom or like a blower to get all of the dirt off the asphalt. And even not sticking well, like it's a busy pattern, so you truly can't tell. The way that we did the booth, Jenny just crushed it, killed it. Jenny and I went to IKEA with David and we're like looking at all this super cute stuff. We picked out adorable furniture, and then Jenny got some super cute chairs that are going to end up in my office from Facebook Marketplace. And just the level of organization that Jenny had on our Pride booth was crazy, was insane, was so good. Jenny's like, okay, cool. I know we're doing this booth, but I don't want to have anything to do with this booth. And I was like, cool. Jenny, of course, is our office manager over at Junkie, who is transitioning to be my chief of staff and be my just right hand, right next to me person with all of the different companies that I'm working on. So I go, okay, cool. This feels very much like when Jenny walked in to work for me about, a year and a half ago now, and was like, I don't want to be a manager. And I'm like, okay, but you just are a manager. So you're just going to be a manager. That's just who you are as a person. That would be like me saying that I'm not going to manage people or delegate people. I would get voted off the island so fucking fast if I was on Survivor because I would be incapable of not being like, you guys, we are going to sleep on the dirt tonight if we don't start building the structure right fucking now. And we need to dig the proper amount of trenches or it's going to blow over on us during the night. Like, I can't not take control of a group if a project needs to get done. And Jenny basically is the same way. She'll just look at it and be like, well, that's not being done right. I am going to go over there and put that into a proper place. And Jenny has never done anything like a booth activation like this, but she's managed a kitchen, which is just like every single day is an activation of a team and making sure that they get stuff done in time. And if, especially as a baker, if you don't start this at this time in the morning, then this isn't going to be done by this time in the morning. And then at 9 o'clock, you're fucked because you don't have anything to sell your clients. Jenny and I think really similarly with stuff like this, which works out really great for us. And I know that there's a lot more to cover. And I'm just starting out with Pride. I skipped right past the fact that it was the 1-year anniversary of Stickergate. Yes, it was. But let me finish out Pride and then we will talk all about. Maybe I'll just tell this story in a circle. You're on the ride with me right now, but I will get back to the rest of what happened at Pride. As a matter of fact, I'll close out the episode with it because it is fucking crazy. And that's where Coachella comes in. Gonna leave you on a little bit of a cliffhanger and back up earlier in the week for the 1-year anniversary of Stickergate. While Hayden and David and Jenny and I and Brian in the social media team we're brainstorming like, hey, what are we going to do for the 1-year anniversary of Stickergate? I just start writing stuff like on our whiteboard, bullet pointing it out of like, oh yeah, then he did this, then they did this, then they did this. For those of you that are new here, Stickergate is what we dubbed at Sticker Junkie. We created a hashtag the day that happened, Stickergate, and dubbed this whole event Stickergate because we are like agency people. Our marketing is really intensely good, and I, as thoroughly canvassed on other episodes, am a slogan writer. So I was like, this is fucking amazing. Let's go. So we're creating this whole story around the fact that this guy sent one email. Now, very recently, Anthony Constantino, the CEO of Sticker Mule, has been doing like a ton of interviews. I mean, maybe he always does interviews, but I've seen a couple of the ones that he's done lately where he's like, well, I don't know why I got canceled. I sent out this really nice email. I'm like, okay, first of all, the email was super confrontational and incredibly divisive because it was saying like spread unity and kindness, but it was saying it, number one, it was saying it in a way of like, I am nice and you guys are mean. Our side is super nice and your side is super mean. And people are tired of the hateful hate on your side. And we're all super nice over here, but you guys are kind of assholes and you need to stop being assholes. That was sort of the cadence takeaway of that letter. He I'm sure doesn't see that it's written that way, but that is the cadence that it felt like, not just to me, but to a lot of people. And I am not radicalized on any side or another, as thoroughly talked about throughout the whole course of my podcast. As soon as we polarize ourselves against each other as a country and we forget that there's a field of information, that there are a whole lot of people who have lived a whole big, huge, entire life to come to the opinions that they have right now. So when we scream a little bumper sticker 7-word thing at each other, that really negates the fact that if you saw somebody trip and fall on the street and bloody their knees and bloody their arms and hit their face and be in trouble, you would run over to help them. Americans would do that. You wouldn't stop and say, who did you vote for? You'd be like, oh my God, you just tripped. That's terrible. Let me help you. And there's so much more that we agree on with each other than that we disagree on. But the things that we disagree on are really important too. And those really need to be solved too. But it's just like a really complex, complicated thing. To come out and say, in the way that they did, calling for unity and kindness is fine. It's great, actually. I think that there should be more unity and kindness. An email came out and was like, we're also going to do a $4 sale on t-shirts, and we recommend that you use your $4 to show your support for Donald Trump. So if you're a member of the LGBTQ community and all of a sudden you have Donald Trump in office who is challenging your actual marriage, then it does feel really hateful to vote for somebody who would take away the health care of your spouse and partner, nullify your ability to make life and death choices when your husband or wife is on their deathbed because somebody else disagrees with your marriage, that feels like an act of aggression towards someone in that position where their way of life is being threatened by what somebody else is doing politically. But so very quickly, because I did recognize when the email came out, I'm like, well, this isn't that bad. I mean, it's not good because it does feel aggressive. Like it just does. If you are in the LGBTQ community and you all of a sudden have a lot of candidates in a lot of political offices that are threatening your actual marriage, your actual ability to make a life and death decision over your spouse on their deathbed, or get your insurance taken away if two women are married and one of them's on their wife's health insurance. Well, if their marriage is nullified, then they lose their healthcare coverage. That does feel really threatening. So a lot of people were incredibly upset, but it wasn't because he said, hey, everybody, let's be unifying and kind. It's because the cadence was, I am unifying and kind, and you are hateful and not. And you guys need to stop being so hateful because we're really, really just only nice. And I'm like, there's a whole lot of hate going around everywhere these days. Okay. A lot of it. A lot of it. And then after that first initial email, they went wild on their corporate social media, like fucking. I was like, keep talking, brah. Matter of fact, we made a sticker that said, keep talking, brah. I owe that guy a beer. I owe that guy all the beers. Like, let's go. He reposted a tweet that called Kamala Harris's followers lobotomized clapping seals. I'm like, what is reeking of kindness and unity? He said that it was emasculating the white men that were voting for Kamala Harris. He said on a comedy show that he went to a white dudes for Harris party and 5 women put his dick in their mouth before they threw up, which I sort of don't even get. I don't understand even a little. I'm a little confused as to what that means. It was a weird joke, but he did say that. Then he also said, something about Kamala Harris, that she did something faster than she, and I quote, fell down Willie Brown's dick. And I'm like, oh, so are you insinuating that this brilliant woman who has, attorney general and then a senator and then the vice president of the United States got to where she was because she slept with one dude 25 years ago? I've said this before and I'll say it again. If that is what it took for women to get to the highest echelons of global governance, it would be only women there. We would have figured that out. We would have solved for that. We would have cracked that code a very, very long time ago. And it would just only be women there, maybe some gay men. However, what it takes is a whole lot more detailed than that. And I always thought that was interesting, that I'm like, oh, that is how you are describing that, instead of that an incredibly powerful woman is in a very loving partnership with an incredibly powerful man. And then with the whole loving the whole dick in women's faces thing seems to be a recurring theme. They ran this sexual harassment ad where there is literally a dude that is naked in the Sticker Mule offices, showing off his temporary tattoo on tramp stamp style on his lower back, and swings around and goes, oh, I almost hit you with that thing, naked in a woman's face while she is on her knees in the office. And I'm like, wow, cool. Like, I get what you're going for with that humor there, but choices were made. And then the pièce de la résistance, my very favorite part, the R word pass. I'm like, brother, what are you doing? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you guys okay over there? Please explain to me, because I truly don't understand how you are taking your company that I know what their sales are. I know what they have to be to support 1,100 people on payroll. I understand the volume of sales that they would have to be having to be in 39 countries and shipping the places they are. And obviously, I'm doing all my reconnaissance. I know who buys stickers from where. I'm talking to all of the big corporations right now and all of the big institutions right now. And if any of them are using one of my competitors, all the ones that I'm talking to, I already know who they're using. I've run some spreadsheet equations based on my understanding of math on previous episodes of the podcast, so I won't get too much in the weeds here, but my best guess is hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. I have an exact number, and it is a fucking lot of hundreds of millions. And I might be wrong. I've not seen their books. This is just an educated guess, owning an identical company with 16 employees that is about to do $4 million in revenue with 16 employees, and they have 1,100 employees. So suffice it to say, this is a very large company, and they have gone not only very big and very political, and they're refusing to call Kamala Harris by her name and instead calling her Biden. I'm like, do you realize how hateful that sounds? While you're simultaneously saying, I am not going to hate, you are not allowed to hate my guy, but I hate your person. And they would say, well, I don't hate that person. I'm like, okay, well, it comes across as really hateful when you are consistently degrading the most powerful woman in American government. That's not a good look. It's not a good look. Anthony Constantino won some kind of a free speech award. I'm not sure for what part of what he was doing, whether it was that he was supporting a president or a presidential candidate or using the R word or what. And I said very clearly, like, this is a massive corporation. If you go onto stickermule.com and you see the humongous corporations that they list as their clients, I am like, what the fuck? I think there's a 0% chance that any Fortune 500 would want to be correlated with something that would be so embarrassing to their brand to be tied to. But Sticker Mule still has huge corporations as clients, Fortune 500s, huge colleges even. What does that mean? Most likely that means that the story hasn't gone wide. Because regardless of whether somebody is a Democrat or a Republican, I showed this R-word pass that Sticker Mule heavily promoted, came out with like 4 really good-looking produced commercials with multiple different camera angles and stuff on them, and actors and lighting, and like they looked like they cost money to make these ads to promote. I don't even have words. I can't imagine that there is a Fortune 500 or a college who would want to be tied to that. If the story does blow up, I would imagine that they very fucking quickly would want to move to somebody else who's just like, let's really don't do that. Or the sexual harassment ad, or the calling Kamala Harris's people lobotomized clapping seals, or hyper over sexualizing the vice president of the United States and insinuating that she got her job because she slept with some guy. None of that looks great. That's not what most Fortune 500s that I have ever done business with want to be sitting right next to at a desk. And they certainly probably don't want to be in bed with a company that's what they're doing and saying like, hey, yes, all of the adults at our company, this is what we think is good. And so at Sticker Junkie, we started to tell the story of that through Stickergate and through StickerWars, which incidentally are breaking off into their own podcasts. So Andrea Lake 101 is going to be the overall podcast where we might cover quant trading, where we might cover Sticker Wars, Stickergate, Secrets of the Apprentice, etc., the Power Chick Mafia, whatever it is that I'm rolling out, all of it will land under the umbrella of Andrea Lake 101, but we are going to start rolling out individual podcasts for each sort of different subcategory. I know it's been incredibly confusing when you watch my podcast and it's like Andrea Lake 101, the making of a billionaire, Sticker Wars, and so it begins, or whatever this insanely long title is. We're just catching our feet with the way the content is going to be distributed. And I have a whole potluck to tell you about that I hosted. But suffice it to say, as we've been capturing this story, we had to stop telling it. Why did we have to stop telling the story of Stickergate and Sticker Wars? Because we produce a custom product. And because we could only produce so much of the custom product at once. So when we 500x'd our sales in the last 1 calendar year, from July of 2024 until July of 2025, which it is right now, we are in a position now to 500x our sales from right here in the next calendar year, maybe more. But it took us a long time to like get our duckies in a row, get all of our compliance in a row, get all of our legal in a row, get all of our machines landed, get all of our people trained on the machines, get all of our marketing down. And now we are ready right now to 5x our sales again right now. And I predict that if we 5x our sales right now, it will take us 4 months to catch up until we are ready to do a 2x multiple from there, and then 2 months to catch up, and then we can continue to do 2x multiples. We're in the position right now that every company dreams of being in, where we have a list 10 miles long of different places that we can approach, of different places that we are approaching, of different places that we have approached. And we have a system that we've integrated that causes people to buy way more stickers than they usually do because we really seamlessly get in with their entire corporate structure. And I used to be sharing a little bit more publicly what we were doing with that. All of our competition copied us, obviously, as well they would. And we've made a lot of modifications and revisions to make it way better. And I'm not telling you what those are because I don't want my competitors who very fucking much watch and listen to my podcast to know exactly what we're doing because it is making our clients so very, very happy. Stickergate anniversary at the 1 year mark on July 14th. We decided as I was bullet pointing, like, and then the guy ran for Congress, and then Anthony Constantino ran for Congress on a Trump agenda. And then he wanted to start an amusement park, a Trump amusement park in New York. And then, you know, they ran the sexual harassment ad and the R word pass and the this and the that. And then he went on this podcast and said this. And then he did this comedy show and said this. Then he said that he wouldn't call Kamala Harris by her name because he didn't think that the most powerful woman in the United States government deserved any name recognition. And I was like, cool. Keep going. Are there any professional women's sports teams out there that buy from Sticker Mule or any women-owned organizations that buy from a company where the CEO does not believe that the highest ranking woman in the United States government doesn't deserve any name recognition? I know Republican women. I know Democrat women. I know a lot of women in between. I know a lot of libertarian women, etc. My party doesn't exist. It would be like the Economists Party. And none of us think it's okay for a woman to be spoken about that way. None of us. I don't take the highest ranking woman in the Republican Party and say that she doesn't deserve to be where she is. And if she's a lawyer that's worked as a civil servant for 30 years in varying degrees of the government, I most certainly don't say that she's incompetent, that she's not smart, that she just slept with some guy, that she and I don't know any Republican women who think that that type of shit is okay. I'm sure that they exist. I do not know them. While, of course, as a woman that is profoundly pro-choice and a humongous ally of the LGBTQ community, do I understand people that would vote the way that they do? I do, because I know them and I talk to them, and the most important issue to them is different than the most important issues to me. That does not make them evil. They do not see the world the way that I do. So as we're going down the whole checklist of the whole thing, and then I was like, and then he laid off 68 people, and then he flew to Mar-a-Lago and gave a $300,000 statue of Donald Trump to Donald Trump. Yes, that happened. Yes. Yes, that happened. Wild. That happened the very same day that my season 5 of The Apprentice landed on Amazon Prime for the first time to be streamed. And I'm like, whatever version of the simulation this is, I will take it. You cannot make this story up. There's a reason my book is called You're Gonna Think I'm a Pathological Liar. It sounds like I'm fucking just making this up as I go along. My biggest competitor, the competitor whose clients I have been salivating over, all of a sudden does stuff that no Fortune 500 wants to be sitting right next to. No Fortune 500 is like, let me cozy right up to an R word pass. That seems like that fits our brand. Does that fit your brand? Every Fortune 500? Y'all, I'm not mentioning you by name because I'm being nice still. But if you all are still getting stickers over there and I'm talking to you, let's switch, because the truth of the matter is, in all of StickerWars, whether it is Sticker Mule or Sticker App, who is owned by a huge private equity company, or Sticker Giant, who is owned by a huge private equity company, we all sell millions of dollars worth of stickers. All have really nice equipment. Every single one of us has millions of dollars worth of very nice equipment. And so really who you're actually purchasing from, it's just like similar. You're going to get a pretty similar product, a pretty nice product from any of the top 4 sticker vendors. And are our products different? Yes. Do I think ours are the best? Yes, I do. I do not cut corners in any way. I like to have the highest quality of everything. If you see me drinking wine on here on this show, it's going to be like Papillon or a bottle of wine that my mom made, because my mom makes wine. If you see me drinking tequila, it's going to be Clase Azul. If you see me living in a building, it's going to be the nicest one. If you see me driving a car, I drive a G-Wagon. If you see our booth at San Diego Pride, it's going to be the most beautiful one. So if you buy a product from me, it's going to be the most high quality product that you can have. And if you have a customer service experience with one of my companies, it's going to be the highest touch customer service that you've ever had. If it's not, and I hear of anybody else doing it better, then we are going to modify and do it better. If we think of any way to make our customers more happy, we do that all of the time. As a matter of fact, we're just about to surprise our customers with their summer Trader Joe's boxes. Yes, we are. That's going to be such a fun thing for us to do within our office that week. As we're sitting there and detailing every single part of what happened in the last year of Stickergate, and we're wanting to reinvigorate the story because we're ready to scale, it killed me that we had to stop making a big deal out of this story because it's the luckiest thing that could ever have happened to me ever. But we just couldn't keep up with the production, and now we can. Now we have tons of extra space to keep up with production. We have empty space on our presses right now. If you need stickers, go get them right now today. Use the promo code Andrea Lake 101 to get 10% off. So I was like, wait a minute, this is the real. As I'm like putting stuff on the whiteboard, I'm like, this is it. And then Hayden and David are like, oh yeah, like TMZ style. Like, let's just film this TMZ style. And then Jenny got like popcorn containers and tea, and Mads and Wendy made up a bunch of popcorn. And then Kiana jumped in last minute to the reel. Brian was hilarious, came in on that reel. And it was just like so fun. I'm surprised, honestly, that reel didn't catch more traction because it's pretty funny. And it also is like, it's this and this and this and this. Well, for the 1-year anniversary of Stickergate, we are doing more Stickergate reels and reinvigorating the story and just being like, this is still happening. Like, we're right over here. And this is who we are as a team. And it's not just that, you know, their marketing is going wild. It's that we're pretty great over here, and we'll just happily make your stickers. We'll get your orders fast. We'll get them on time. It's that we're pretty great. It's that we're right over here, and we have a top-notch, excellent, amazing product, and we are so fast. We get our stickers out on average in 3.2 days for all. That's our average for all orders. And we just have this very high touch experience with our clients. Like, you can call us on the phone. If you're having a customer service issue, we're going to solve it for you. And that's the type of ethos that we're bringing into that company. Because at first, when I was first rebuilding this company, we had to be all three, and nobody is all three. We had to be good and fast and cheap. And you can get good and you can get fast and you can get cheap, but you can only get two of the three. And we are good and fast. And we're still really competitively priced. But necessarily, our prices are just going to be a little bit higher at some point than our competition's. They're not yet because we can't afford it yet. But we'll end up having a little bit of price increases. Why? Because we're paying our people a living wage as soon as we hit 10 million in annual revenue. That is expensive. And full medical and full dental and full vacation time, and just making it like a dream place to work. So, like, why is that part important to us? Now, I know I've talked about this a lot, but the thing that I haven't really keyed in on that I don't get with all of the greed, with all of the stuff that I saw at Milken Institute and that I'm going to see at World Economic Forum when I go there in a few months, the way the wealthiest people in the world, all these private equity funds, are talking about money and like, oh, we just have to get our 7 basis points. And there is such a lack of care of the people that work within the company. And it used to be in a lot of the biggest companies in the United States that the workers of the company directly benefited from the success of the company. They would get pension plans. They would be able to retire and live for the rest of their life if they gave 40 years of their life to a company. Well, I am only doing this for 7 or 10 years. My goal is to bang this company to $1 billion in revenue in 7 years. Will it all come through Sticker Junkie? I don't know. My best guess is there will be more than one banger, huge, humongous 8 and 9 and 10 figure companies that spin out of this project that I'm doing. But I'm retiring in 10 years. So suffice it to say, because this is like a short run for me, a 7-10 year thing that I'm in on, I am ready to sprint again right now. And we are ready for our sales to hugely increase. So we are back to telling the story in a lot more detail and through a lot more platforms than we have been up until this point. And it's crazy, the story that is evolving around us right now with Stickergate. So we run our first Stickergate anniversary reel. It does fine. It actually, quite frankly, did not do as well as we thought that it was going to. And so we have a couple more that we are about to come out with and release and start to tell the story more widely. Also, our lovely, amazing Hayden, who has created so much cool content for us, has moved out of state. So she's going to be involved with us for a little bit longer, but she's going off onto her own adventure. And we hired in Sasha, our wonderful new social media maven. I can't wait to see what she produces. I Haven't seen any content from her yet from Sticker Junkie up until yesterday. And then she just did her first 2 stories and they were super cute and adorable. And I can't wait to see what she creates. Her and David seem to be getting along famously well and have some awesome ideas for some of the photography that we're going to be doing on the Instagram site. And I get to hear all of the stuff that they have been connecting on this week tomorrow in our social media meeting. I can't wait. As a matter of fact, this is the very first podcast that Sasha is going to edit for us and pull the highlight reels out of. So I cannot wait to see what she does. In the midst of the chaos of getting everything together for the booth at Pride, which was, I mean, a job. That was like a full-time job for everybody that was at Sticker Junkie. We only have 16 people. So to as flawlessly pull off an activation like that as we did was wild. Everybody had hands on that booth in one way or another. Dana did the tie-dye t-shirts and led a tie-dye party the day before Pride. Of course, we had a lot of different artists that were touching all of the different promo stickers that we did. And just everybody had a hand in some of it. The people in production were like slammed putting together the stickers for our sticker towers because this was the first launch of the sticker towers. We officially have 12 artists that are doing sticker tower stickers for us over at Sticker Junkie, and we're launching that initiative. I just reached out to a good friend of mine at Hot Topic who is in town for Comic-Con this weekend to take them out to brunch on Sunday and sell them some more stickers for all of the Hot Topics across the country. And we're going to be releasing our sticker tower initiative to a bunch of tattoo shops in the coming weeks. We've decided that we'll probably do that like mid-August so that people have time to land it and get it comfortably in store and selling for them and selling well for them well before holiday so that they can be integrating more dollars into their tattoo shops or coffee shops or whatever with some type of ancillary presents that people might be buying during the holiday season. So everything is just like banging along. And we closed a couple more humongous clients, which is exactly what we need. And now we have list after list after list of different types of clients that we're going after, and they're all ones that are a perfect fit for us. It's a combination of huge Fortune 500s, of all the professional women's sports teams in the country, all of the colleges and universities, of tons of different governmental agencies, of tons of subcontractors for governmental agencies. I mean, we are just banging across so many different verticals of lists. Tons of cool medium-sized San Diego companies, different coffee shop chains, different dispensary chains, different breweries, just anybody that we don't currently have a relationship with in San Diego especially, but also nationally. We are running across loads and loads of different categories and closing them right now, and it feels amazing. Because in addition to being the CEO, CMO, CFO, I am also the head of sales. And in the midst of that, I did one of my favorite things that I do as a head of sales. I hosted a potluck. You never know who's going to come to a potluck. I hit up my high-end business groups and just said, hey, hosting a little potluck at my place in San Diego. A bunch of people drove down from LA, stayed overnight. We went to a brunch the next day. And then I do these like icebreaker connection exercises where I put people in a circle and I put them through a series of exercises so they sort of get to know each other. Then I break them out into hijacks, which is an activation that I'm talking to Ted about doing at TED 2026, where every person that's there can break out and have a one-on-one conversation with another person at the event. And I have had business partnerships come out of hijacks. I've had marriages come out of hijacks. I've had any manner of connect best friends come out of different hijacks. I have 2 best friends I met 14 years ago on a hijack in Sedona where they got lost. A hijack is just where you take somebody for a one-on-one, no bullshit conversation. There is no small talk in it. You're sharing more deeply with each other. I take people through a series of vulnerability exercises first so that they feel more comfortable connecting more deeply with each other. And then you go on a little adventure if it's possible. In this case, those people went on a hike and ended up getting lost for 4 hours and came back from their hijack best friends. They started a nonprofit together. They started a business together as well. So it's just a way for people to more deeply connect, especially when they're already in a really highly curated group like Summit Series or TED or the World Economic Forum or activation over on Necker Island or wherever it is that they might be. And so I do that at my potluck. And this time I connected the 2 people I most wanted to be connected to each other, which is Mr. Andy Stack and our new showrunner, who I need to get his permission to say his name on the podcast. But I wanted Andy, who was previously with YouTube and the Blue Man Group, just a super interesting guy, and our showrunner, who has done multiple different shows. He just does a bunch of different stuff in the industry and has been a producer on a bunch of different shows. So that was fantastic because we are just trying to decide right now, do we sell our StickerWars docuseries to a streaming service, or do we self-release on YouTube because we have so many good connections over at YouTube, and then we control the content ourselves? And I'm not really sure. So we're just taking meetings right now and figuring that out. We're also figuring out my agency representation right now, because when I woke up sad and fat and broke in Sedona and was like, oh my God, I need to make this back as quickly as possible. The quickest way to make back an empire is to have an audience. And the quickest way to get an audience, if you're doing something fascinating and interesting and compelling to watch, is to document it and show people exactly how you're doing it. Like, you guys saw me. The next podcast that I'm going to do is going to be the nitty gritty inside Sticker Wars, where I really just break down the business aspects of like, exactly what did we do? Exactly why did we do it? Exactly how does that look? Which I feel like I've been doing a pretty good job of on the Sticker Wars episode. But if you guys have any questions about how the fuck do you scale 482% in a single calendar year and then prepare to scale 500% again in the next calendar year and the calendar year after that and the calendar year after that, like, how the fuck do you do that? Ask any specific questions in the comments and I will do my best to answer as many questions as I can, because it's completely possible. You just have to have a roadmap, know where you're going, and then you have got to set up a team, and you have got to set it up like a team, like a professional level team, like a sports team. I was talking about this a lot with my team this week because, you know, just like any team, you're going to have turnover. Now, in our case, we had obviously someone who moved away because life, and that just happens. But we have let people go along the way. And I say, and I mean, I like every person that has ever worked for me. There's not a person that works for me that I don't like. But I always say this, and this is some real not fucking around business advice. If someone isn't a good fit for your team, you cannot keep them on your team. You can't. Because a team like ours functions in harmony. There's a reason that like a superstar player like Dennis Rodman might have a little bit of difficulty integrating with a new team or being able to stay on a new team, because on our team, we only have team players. Have I let go of fucking superstars? I mean, superstars off of my team? Yes. Yes, I have. I'm thinking of one person in particular really early on that just did some of the greatest media content that we've ever had. Superstar. Going to be a banger entrepreneur. Banger entrepreneur. But I needed someone that was going to show my vision a little bit more clearly. Someone else that we let go of off the team. God, I love her, bright and shiny and sparkly and creative and amazing. And I didn't have the right job for her. So I sat her down and explained, this is what our graphic design department is. You're going to be doing proofs all day long, every day, and fixing other people's artwork. And she looked at me and she said, it's really not fair that you wrote the ad the way that you did, because I thought I was going to be doing really creative stuff all day. And I was like, do you know what? That's fair. And I write the ad a different way now, because she was exactly right. She's like, I didn't know I was going to be doing like production style artwork, which is not super fun and creative all the time. It's really doing tons of artwork correction and stuff. And I take the feedback from the people that are off the team and the feedback of the people that I really want to retain on the team equally as seriously. We want to create the best workplace in the country, and you don't get that unless you listen to what your people are telling you. You don't. And so there was a lot of communication of like what I expect from team members this week, and also what I give to them. I said something that I hadn't said in a long time of like, hey, you guys, I made a commitment to myself, a promise to myself, that I would work all day, every day for 27 months. Today, July 24th of 2025, is exactly 23 and a half months in. It's the exact halfway mark in this month. So I have 3.5 more months of working all day, every day. That means that I wake up whenever I wake up, which is usually like 4 o'clock in the morning. I get up and do a full work day before I go to the office on the days that I do work from the office. Then I go into the office and do a full work day at the office. Then I come home and do another full work day when I get home. And then I go to bed. There's only a certain limited amount of time that I'm going to be able to push myself to those kinds of limits. And we are very much brushing up against the end of when I am going to be able to be doing that. But now My work days look more like figure out what the content is going to be. How am I going to roll out my personal content on Andrea Lake 101? What am I going to do for my next potluck activation? Why the fuck am I even doing potlucks in the middle of everything else? It's because when I connect my friend group to each other, there's so much goodwill there. I expand my group. People bring people to my potlucks who buy fuck tons of stickers, who own massive companies. All is well there. People do business with people that they like. In this last potluck, I had kept saying like, oh, I'm going to teach people how to do my quant trading system. And my intention was to set out a course. It's like $777 that teaches people about compounding returns. If you're waiting to take that course, because I've talked about it before, do not worry. I still will release that course. However, first, what I'm going to do is a really high-end, high-touch course, because to really trade the way that I am teaching in a compounding way in crypto, you should just have a bunch of money. You should have a bunch of extra money. You really should have $40,000 just to put in there and not worry about it if it gets lost, etc. Even though I never sell at a loss, crypto itself is volatile. And so I thought I'm going to do a course that's like $7,777. And then I was like, oh, I guess if two people take it, because friends of mine that are a couple wanted to take it together, I was like, well, I guess I'd do it for 11 grand for a couple, like 11,111. And sure enough, at my potluck, two people advance signed up. They're like, we want in, $11,000 is fine. Tell us where to send the money. We would love to do that. So I'm actually going to Sedona in a couple weeks. And while I am there, I am taking my Series 65 so that I will be a certified financial planner so that I legally can sell this course. So on top of like rebuilding the company for Sticker Junkie and re-rolling out delinquent distribution, I'm also selling a TV show and doing potlucks on the side and. So my time is constantly pressed. And all of the assets, all of the things that I am rolling out right now, I'm wanting to do with an incredible amount of excellence. Which brings us back to the Pride booth. So we're at San Diego Pride, and we are next to a Fortune 100 global brand, one of the biggest brands in the world. And we are outshining them at this booth. Their activation is great. It does look fantastic, of course, but it does not look like they just built a store in the middle of this street, which is what ours does look like. We have a little roped off sales area with a nice furniture so that I'm sitting down and talking to this person that works at this Fortune 500 and other corporate clients that are coming through during the day that I'm meeting, and other of our current clients that we've had forever that just popped by the booth. You can sit down and catch up with them and thank them for their business. And as I'm speaking with her, she's like, whoa, this activation is so crazy. I go, yeah, I always say that we look like agency people. And she goes, you do. Your branding is incredible. Your branding is insane, because the branding on this booth, the way that we did the banners, the way that we did the promo stickers, the way that Jenny set it all up too, so that when you went in on the right-hand side, that's where all the free stickers were, because we were just giving away all of our Pride collection for free. And then on the left-hand side was where we were selling the Sticker Tower artists stickers. And it was just like so much fun. It was so fun connecting with the community. And we immediately realized the things that we'll do different next time. Like, we didn't actually have a lot of signage or materials that were explaining that we're actually a custom sticker company. That was a bit of a miss, but you're never going to bang everything out right the first time. And then I was like, oh yeah, we should have brought like a spinning wheel where people like win whatever sticker that's off that wheel. And we should have had a couple of different really Instagrammable, snap a picture type of backdrop things. So next time that we exhibit somewhere, we'll have all those things. So she looks at me and goes, like, what's your summer schedule for activations and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh no, this is our first activation. And she was like, what? Are you kidding me right now? I'm like, no, I'm not. However, I have done hundreds of activations. My business partner, Brian, has done hundreds of activations. Chance has done hundreds of gorgeous booths across the years. And Jenny is just a born natural organizational leader. So she is making the ship run tight. So our whole team is showing up. Every person on the team. Mads was there morning till night, every day, and so involved in the booth committee and the booth process. Everybody that works for me had their hands on this. And she was so impressed. I said, actually, we were saying, because we have Chance on staff and we're so lucky to have him. And like, we don't have the budget for a full-time booth guy. We're a small company still. We will in the future, but that doesn't help right now. So we figured that we might have people that had interest in us like building booths for them and doing activations, because we all the banners and stuff we printed in-house, all everything that you're seeing, all the sticker flooring, everything we printed in-house. And she was like, what? And I'm like, yeah. I said, it's the flooring that's a differentiator. She's like, no, it is. Like, it's all so good, but the flooring is what like takes it to the next level. And then she started telling me about the activation that they are doing at Coachella 2026. And she is in charge of figuring out getting all of the activation together and the booth built and all that stuff. And I was like, we literally are wanting to do this for a client, and we are like agency people. You absolutely can hire us to do that activation. And she's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm dead serious. We were wanting to do this because we want Chance to be on our team. And I always say I want Chance to have his own fiefdom. Chance came into our business when we desperately needed someone in production. He has a big career behind him building all of these gorgeous, very interactive, three-dimensional, award-winning, won the best booth at Magic kind of booths. And he's just chilling, working in our production because we needed an extra set of hands until we had time for him to do a booth. And we desperately have wanted to move him over to run like a booth section, because these booths, these rollouts, these activations, this will become something that we do. We will be going to all kinds of different festivals, all kinds of different trade shows, all kinds of different places just to get the word out there that we are the sticker vendor that you should be going to. And but we don't have that work right now. So we would love to. And this global, massive juggernaut of a brand is like, oh, absolutely. We absolutely want you to do the activation at Coachella 2026 with us. And it can be co-branded. Like, you can absolutely have a Sticker Junkie space within the space of these brands they're putting together, like 10 different brands in this place with thousands of influencers at Coachella. And I was like, let's fucking go. So that happened this week. So it's like then all of the next steps are just totally unfolding before us. I cannot wait for the next Stickergate update, because man, StickerWars is on. And every person, every big sponsor that was at Pride that I spoke with was like, oh, you guys are exhibiting at Pride? Done. It will happily move over to you. And then I would show them the way that we integrate corporations with our system. And they're like, oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's an easy yes. I'm like, it really is. Let's go. Because proudly, like, we are a small company, and San Diego Pride, they charge based on what companies can afford to pay. And right now we can't afford to pay a lot, but we paid a lot because we understand that it's a donation that goes to them to support the San Diego LGBTQ communities. So we paid thousands and thousands of dollars to exhibit there. And like, we don't have an extra $5,000 right now. Like, that costs us something. That is a big percentage of our money that comes in right now. So we're happy to support our community. And we gave out thousands and thousands of dollars worth of free stickers, those super cute San Diego Pride stickers. I love the way that they came out. We also formed a really cool partnership. Like, as a lot of you guys know, this is such a fucking pro tip for you guys as you're building your brands, as you're building your companies. One of the things that I've done in the last year that I've talked about like a little bit here and there that I'm going to talk about more is that I have created affiliate partnerships with a bunch of different companies. We have a very generous beta affiliate program for other people who are like me, who just know a lot of people. And a lot of companies have an affiliate program for people like me who know a lot of people. I know I've talked about the fact that I am able to sell some tickets for Necker Island and get a commission off of that. I'm able to recommend services that I actually really like to my friends and get a commission on that. Services for like social media marketing, overseas web development, cybersecurity, etc. And I get a little commission when people use those services. But they're services that we actually ourselves use. So today I'm going to talk about one called Cyberhoot. And this is as close to an advertisement as you'll ever get, is that I'm telling you that I have a deal with them. They're awesome. So every different place that is a business needs to get cybersecurity training for your employees at some different levels. Like if we were to have a cyber attack and need to go file a claim with our insurance company, if say our website was down for 2 weeks, right? In order to get that type of cybersecurity, we actually need to have cybersecurity training for our employees. The insurance company requires us to have that because if they're going to pay out on a claim, they want to make sure that your guys are not going to get caught in a phishing attack. And that is where CyberHoot comes in. So if you need cybersecurity training for any of your companies, I personally use CyberHoot. You can go check them out. Tell them Andrea Lake sent you. Tell them that you saw us on the Andrea Lake 101 podcast. And yeah, why shop around? We've already shopped around and we chose the best one. And then they were like, hey, how about if we just give this service to you for free? It's not even expensive. It's only like $500 a year. How about if we give this to you for free? And then you talk about it on your podcast and you can get a commission if anyone buys after hearing about it on your podcast. And I was like, that sounds great. Use the promo code Andrea Lake 101 if you need to get cybersecurity training for your employees. Doesn't matter how big or small your corporation is. That's going to do it there. If you have not yet subscribed, you guys, please subscribe. I have barely any subscribers and I fucking need subscribers. And if you're watching every week, please subscribe to me. It helps creators a really lot when their subscriber count goes up. If you're not following me on Instagram, please follow me at Andrea Lake 101 on Instagram, on every platform, TikTok, Instagram, Threads. And also, please follow Sticker Junkie on all of those same platforms. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you're hitting hard after it. I will see you on the next episode of Andrea Lake 101. I think I'm going to do one called Threading the Needle, where I sort of fill in a bunch of other stories of what's been going on. For that, you're going to need to grab your wine, grab your popcorn, and I will bring all of the tea. I'll see you guys next time on the pod.